Let's now turn to trade and investment. Intra-African trade currently accounts for only 16% rather, of the continent's total trade volume. According to reports from the African Export-Import Bank, the value of this internal trade is projected to reach approximately $230 billion under ongoing continental reforms. Now, while Africa still trades far more with external partners like Asia and the European Union, internal trade is steadily rebounding. South African-born global speaker and investor Vusi Thembekwayo says he strongly supports open trading in Africa, but some people believe the current migration tensions in South Africa could slow down efforts to bring the continent closer together. The BBC's Waihiga Mora spoke to Mr. Thembekwayo here in Nairobi about these concerns.
There is for sure, I think, a legitimate cause around which South Africans are saying, can we have a conversation around conditions of Pan-Africanism? And can we have a conversation around conditions of immigration? Because the placard that's held up at the faces of South Africans is, but we are one Africa. And what I heard some of my brothers and sisters in South Africa say is, no, that's true. We are one Africa, but let's talk about the conditions around this one Africa convenes. I should say to you, this is a lived experience for me. My own partner in my life is not South African. So when some of these things were happening, this is a conversation that was taking place in the household. The second thing I would say is, because the largest part of our business is in West Africa, Nigeria specifically, I also have been hearing those voices. And I've been on the ground listening to some of what those voices have to say. Suffice it to say that I still think we're screaming at each other, we're not dialoguing. There is not now, nor will there ever be a moment where we can justify violence. So we, all of us, have to stand on the sidelines and make the point clear that there are legitimate ways to deal with a legitimate problem. My personal view is that if you take an illegitimate method at dealing with a legitimate problem, you delegitimize the problem that you're trying to solve now.
But I also saw statistics, I think from the AFP news agency, 160,000 people have left South Africa in the last 2 months alone, according to various embassies that, were taking people into different countries. What does that mean for investors?
I've got a group of African-American investors coming into South Africa now in September, and I'm going to be taking them around the country. We're doing some incredible things together. We're launching a global exchange, connecting African entrepreneurs with African diaspora and trying to create our own ecosystem of value and economy, right? So it's important for me that people, I think, put their feet on the ground and actually see what's happening on the ground. Because, and the reason I was asking, where have they been, is because there are specific areas, specific townships that if you go to, there are particular immigrant communities who have made it very difficult, and by difficult I mean have used criminal means to make it difficult for South Africans to operate businesses.
Where are the authorities in these communities? Who collect taxes? Where are they?
And this, for me, you answer that question, you answer this entire issue. What is happening with the people who hold the keys to power to manage this crisis? It's pretty clear. In my mind, it's pretty clear that we have a management issue here.
I was going to say, you've sold a visa-free Africa, you've sold a Africa Free Trade Area dream that for Africa to compete with the rest of the world, it must come together. Is that still valid today with the current feelings that there are on the continent?
The Africa Free Trade Area was a recognition by different African states that I think we're at something like 16% of the trade in the African continent is intra-Africa trade. This represents massive potential for us. But the Africa Free Trade Area was the recognition by African states that the desire is not enough. You needed a policy framework. I'm all for the blue card system, the likes of which you have in Europe, where if you land in one part of Europe, you can travel to another part of Europe because they've created the system that allows for that level of migration. So I think the failing, and that's what I meant by migration as the issue of our generation, I think the failing to date of those in leadership and the opportunity for them now, and you and I, is to ask the question, if we have an Africa Free Trade Area agreement which facilitates trade, how do we have an Africa Free Visa agreement which facilitates migration?